Right on. So we're live today with our good brother Mumia Abu-Jamal, who has been fighting a good fight before many of us was born. How are you feeling today, comrade? How's everything going with you?
Oh, brother, I am well. I am well. As I say, every day is a new day and a new beginning. So let us begin this one well.
Right on, right on, right on. Hey man, we know that there's so much stuff that we would like to rap about in so little time. But I know that just getting to the meat of it, we know that you've been fighting this whole health situation for a minute. Tell us how that's going right now. I know that you recently had had surgery back a few months ago. How's your health right now? Is it pretty strong or?
It is. It really is. My health is, I'm a biased observer.
Right on.
My health is excellent, though. And, I just keep moving every day. I have a walk for about an hour when we're in the yard. And if we're not in the yard, if the weather is inclement, you walk on the block. I just keep on walking. That's one of the good pieces of advice that the good doctors told me about, which is to walk. And it's a perfect exercise, and I just walk. So,
right on.
Still walking.
Right on, right on. We'll keep on walking as the song go. We know that this December marks 40 years since you were railroaded. You spent 30 on death row and solitary confinement. 10 of those was after a federal judge ordered the death sentence overturned. Your strength has just been impeccable. Along with that, you recently dropped a commentary called Movement Pains. And in it, you spoke about the oppressed and abuse of power within the movement. Can you speak to that? Because of the fact that that's prevalent right now. And we know it's always been.
Well, I think about things from different perspectives. So, when I write, I try to be original in my thinking and not just additive of what others are saying. So, if I'm not bringing anything original to the table, I'm not talking.
Right.
Just echo. And, echo can create reverb. In radio, that ain't cool. You
right.
dig?
Yes, sir.
So, I want to bring something new to the table. So, that means you have to kind of think things through and just bring it when it's there, when it's timely.
Right on.
When the time is right. The movement has shifted as life has shifted. And, but, on the whole, I think that this is really a wonderful period, right? To be alive because people are awake. I was going to say awakened, and I was tempted to say woke, but people have awakened to really the poisons of the system in ways they haven't been for decades. There are a lot of people who never lived during the 60s. That was one of the freest moments I know in my own kind of personal life as being part of a group of revolutionaries known as the Black Panther Party. But those periods repeat themselves, right, in cycles throughout history, right? And, given the technology that brings people face to face with the George Floyd situation and similar situations around the country, many people have awakened to the nature of this beast because they couldn't turn away from it. They were looking literally live, right, in real time.
That's right.
time for his mama, because he knows, right, that he has moments left to live. Because he, as he explained, he can't breathe, right? Then that's an awakening moment. And so, you take advantage of that moment and you build on it, right? You teach people about the history of the United States, the history of white supremacy, the history of colonialism and imperialism, and you build, and you build, and you build. This is a time for movement building all around the world. And think about this. When George Floyd happened, it wasn't a national thing. It was a global thing. People demonstrated in like Korea, Japan, Indonesia, England, France, Germany, literally all across the world, because what they felt, what they saw, what they experienced was a human being killed by the state with cold complicity, right? And it's stuff like that builds movements and creates struggles to carry us through the next dark time.
Right on. And the beauty of you is the fact that you've always had your finger to the pulse of the streets. I remember we reached out to you when Troy Davis was on death row. I reached out to Pam and Noel Hanrahan, and they said, yeah, Mumia said that he's going to support the Troy Davis situation. There you were, fresh off the death row yourself, and you were pushing for others. Your strength, like I said, it's impeccable. I want to ask you real quick, because I know we are pressed for time, but what is the role, or what should be the role in journalism, or with journalists these days, because of the fact that we know that part of your sacrifice was your reporting on MOVE and other atrocities that were going on in Philadelphia. Can you speak to that?
The role of a journalist is to be, in a revolutionary perspective, I should say a revolutionary journalist as opposed to a corporate journalist. But the role of a journalist, in my mind, is to be a tribune of the people, to, as you suggested, to touch the pulse of the people, to feel what they feel.
You have 1 minute left.
And to reflect that which they do not, so that we can, again, build movements that are moving at a higher frequency and a higher vibration, to pull people together and to inspire them to do that which we know is possible, because it has happened in the past. Anything that has happened in the human past is possible in the human future. That's both negative, but it's also positive. So we can build, we can grow, and we have to think along those terms, because as a man thinketh, and as a woman thinketh, so it is. So let us come together, as George Jackson reminded us.
Right on.
Stop our squabbles and join together and fight against this monster before it takes.
Thank you for using Securus. Goodbye.
Love you as well, brother. Yes. We've been listening to Mumia Abu-Jamal. He had the opportunity to call in fresh this morning, and it's so much we wanted to speak to him on, but we know we're pressed for time, so hopefully we will get him back on the line soon. You're checking out Riot Starter TV, and make sure that you stay in tune with not only Mumia Abu-Jamal, but all political prisoners. The call is free them all.